Hi, I'm JJ Smith. Thanks for joining me in the weekly wow of spirit stories. This week I had a super cool group reading, and before they even came over, it was 4 women, and before they even came over for the group reading, what was happening is I kept feeling there was a grandfather that was around. And it was so interesting because I could see what he was wearing. And I also knew he was going fishing with his granddaughter, and that one of the women coming that night was his granddaughter. But I wasn't exactly sure who it was going to be because I could see a picture of her running down a pier, and she had dark hair and pigtails, and she was wearing this little white dress with purple flowers on it. But what I thought was so strange is the grandfather was showing me how he looked, and he was wearing like khakis and like a nice cardigan with a shirt under it. And I was thinking to myself, who goes fishing dressed like that, right? Because he looked so nice. And so 3 of the women showed up first because they had all ridden together, and they came in, and I was trying to decide before they got here, like, how am I going to know what person this spirit goes with? And then I thought, like, oh, okay, whoever has dark hair when they get here, that'll probably be them. And the 3 women come in together, and they all color their hair, right? They're all blondes, but I don't know what their natural color is. But I just wasn't feeling the vibe that he went with any of them. And then their friend was about 5 minutes behind him. And when she walked in, boy, it just hit me like a ton of bricks that I knew that that was her grandfather who had been waiting to talk to her. And so as we sat down and got started, I actually started with her and told her the story that I was just telling you. And I said, but it's so strange. Why would he dress like that when you're going fishing? And she said, oh, he was a very prominent attorney. And so he always dressed like that no matter, where we went. He was very dressed up. And then he kept showing me a picture of them on the boat together, and he wasn't using worms for bait because that upset his granddaughter, who was about 4 in my mind's eye of this vision. And so he was using a different bait, and the woman said yes, that's exactly how it always worked. And so what's so interesting about this with spirit is when I start with the reading, they always give validation to the person that I'm sitting down with by telling me things that I don't know. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me, but when I say it to the person sitting across from me, it means something to them. So what's beautiful about that validation is it helps you know that you're actually talking with the right spirit, right? The person that you're hoping to connect with. And then from there, they can go on to give you the messages that they're wanting to share, or let the person ask the questions that they might have for spirit. So the experience was wonderful. And I'll tell you, he had some kind of heavy messages that he wanted to share with her. He told her specifically that she was in a relationship that was not healthy for her, and that it was already on the cusp of separating, and that she needed to go ahead and let that happen and not try to save it. And those are never easy messages for me to share with a client that comes in, but spirit always knows. And part of my job as a medium is I don't have the luxury of editing a message, right? What spirit is telling me is the message that I am obligated to share. So that's kind of my agreement with spirit. And so it ended up being a really beautiful session. And I know she felt, even though there were tears and heartache during the exchange and the conversation, when she was getting ready to leave, she said it was exactly what she was needing to hear. So spirit always knows. This is JJ Smith, and thanks for joining me this week on the weekly wow of spirit stories. If you'd like to schedule a session, feel free to go to my website at jjsmithmedium.com, and that's where you'll find the calendar. Thanks.